A warm welcome to You're a Wizard, a magical sleep saga inspired by the world of Harry Potter, where you are the main character. As you take a moment to get comfortable, remind yourself that this is your story, and there are no limits to what you can add to this adventure. Anyone that you meet along the way throughout this saga can be whoever you want them to be. They might be people from your own life, a famous figure that you admire, or a character from the books. So be sure to bring along your own unique imagination. Let your thoughts turn to those of magic, wonder, and adventure as we continue our Harry Potter sleep saga. With your eyes closed, you wake up to the low crackle of a simmering fire, coupled with the sound of autumn birds chirping away happily. The rich smell of old wood and fresh laundry drifts in the air. The thick, heavy duvet rests over your body, comforting and warm. As you blink open your eyes, you see a gaping window by your bed, welcoming in a soft morning breeze. Your sleepy gaze wanders around the room, and you take in your new surroundings, unfamiliar but comfortable and homely. In the middle of your bedroom sits an iron furnace, and inside is a log fire bubbling away, radiating a wonderful heat that wraps around your body, coating you with warmth. The curtains, cushions, and your bed sheets are decorated in the colors of your wizarding house, and all of a sudden you realize where you are. You find yourself reminiscing on the magical memories from yesterday. You remember waking up in the magical tavern, and during breakfast you were reunited with the beautiful black and white sleepy cat who would come to see you off on your adventure. You met your new friend, the wonderful giant, and travelled to King's Cross using enchanted flue powder. Then, after running through a magical gateway onto platform 9 3/4, you boarded the express train and made your way across an alluring landscape of rolling hills, pockets of thick trees, and many beautiful animals living together in perfect harmony. It was on this train ride that you saw your very first dragon, Norbert, the guardian of the school, and a very old friend of your gentle giant. When the train finally stopped, you were guided by the giant through a woodland grove, arriving at a collection of small wooden boats. Once everyone was firmly seated, the boats began to row by themselves, carrying you across the mystical lake, guarded by starlight, towards your new forever home, the castle. Once inside, you were taken into the great hall at last, and sorted by the hat into your favorite wizarding house, your best friend quickly following behind. You have dreamt of this moment for as long as you can remember, and today you begin your first lessons as a student of magic, ready for your own adventure. Speaking of your best friend, they are still fast asleep, and right now are nothing more than a bundle under their covers. You make a mental note to remind them just how loud they were snoring this morning. Dotted around the room, atop sturdy wooden shelves, are little plant pots filled with many colourful flowers and enchanted herbs with purple and red leaves. Some of the flowers are moving by themselves, rippling with the morning breeze. As you step out of bed and open up your drawers, you are surprised to see all of your belongings packed neatly inside. Everything is color-coded, clothes are folded, books are arranged in alphabetical order on your shelf, and your cases are tucked perfectly away on top of your wardrobe. But if you didn't do this, then who did? Perhaps it is simply one more wonderful feature of this magical castle. Just then, you hear a rustle from your bedside table, and you turn to see your pet animal finally waking up, giving a wide yawn as their sleepy eyes struggle to stay open. You wander over to their cage, unlock the door, and hold your companion gently in your arms. You reach into your rucksack by your bed and pull out a box of their favorite treats, feeding them from your hand as you shuffle over to the window. In the quiet calm of the morning, you perch on the inside ledge, cradling your animal and gazing out across the eternal landscape in front of you. Surrounding the castle is a flurry of green grass, bordered by a thick, dark forest with leaves of blue, orange, and purple. A single willow tree, as wide as a house and at least 50 feet tall, stands proudly in the middle of the grounds. To your left is an oval stadium encompassed by tall wooden towers, each with banners of the 4 wizarding houses waving gently in the wind. Past the stadium and beyond the castle grounds sits a quiet, cosy village made up of little grey-stoned cottages with thatched roofs. A collection of stumpy chimneys give off a silver haze that mingles over the village. Your animal breathes slow and steady as they relax deeper into your arms, enjoying this quiet time with you. You feel your own breath slowing down as well, and a new relaxation is flowing through your body. Then, among the clouds above you, you catch sight of an enormous bird of ruby and gold. Your eyes follow this majestic animal as it dives down and glides over the huge lake. The bird's mighty talons skim the surface, creating a ripple on the water that glistens against the golden sunrise. In a smooth, effortless flight, this bird takes off once again and drifts over to a solitary hut made of mismatched brick and topped with a brown roof shaped like a witch's hat. Here resides your dear friend, the gentle giant, who is the gamekeeper of the castle and professor of magical creatures. This enchanted bird dances across the sunrise, darting through wisps of white cloud in the pastel blue sky, backed by the grey silhouette of the mountains far off in the distance. It is the perfect picture of a perfect morning. Filled now with a deep sense of peace and a new excitement for the day ahead, you wander back over to your wardrobe and start to change into your wizarding robes. Your wonderful companion sits upon your bed now, and you leave their cage open, allowing them to roam free today and hopefully make some new friends of their own. Your animal won't be joining you in your lessons today, but they will always be here to be your friend and guardian whenever you need them. You are companions for life. And now, fully robed and ready for the day, you reach into your pocket and remove your wand. Instantly, you feel its magic pulse through your arm, up into your body, and begin to radiate all around you. You realize how lucky you are to be here in this castle, a proud student of magic. You are ready. With a glance to your best friend, still fast asleep, you decide to let them rest a little longer after the busy day yesterday. You will catch up later over breakfast in the Great Hall. Placing your wand back into your pocket, you take up your bag and head down the stone corridor towards your common room. It seems today you are the first one awake, as the common room is completely empty. The embers of last night's fire are giving off an orange glow that illuminates the space. The tall wooden clock to your right ticks on in a steady rhythm, and the enchanted atmosphere is ever present in this cosy, beautiful room. As your eyes flick to the sofa on your left, you notice a small magical creature fluffing the cushions and patting them down, humming a happy tune. For the moment, they are oblivious to your presence, but as you step towards them, the floorboards creak. Their head quickly turns, and you are met by the big, wondrous eyes of a little elf, gazing up at you with a nervous curiosity. They stand with their hands together, fidgeting with their fingers, before giving you a low bow. With a gentle smile, you return the bow, and the elf gives a surprised stare. You greet them with your name and ask this little creature theirs. Daphne, she tells you, Daphne the House Elf. She has a small, thin body and rather skinny arms and legs. Her kind face is made up of big, brown, hopeful eyes, a pointed nose, and large floppy ears that give her an innocent and endearing expression. Daphne explains, with a slight stutter, that, hoping you wouldn't mind, she took the liberty of unpacking your things, cleaning your clothes, and organizing your wardrobe. She thought you might be nervous for your first day and wanted to give you one less thing to worry about. Gazing at this little elf, you feel an instant connection with the lovely Daphne, and you thank her for all her help, holding out your hand. She hesitates for a moment, but then, giving a warm smile, takes your hand and asks politely if you would like to be her friend. With an irresistible chuckle, you accept her very generous offer, and she gives an excited hop around the room, beaming with delight. You take this moment to ask her why she was so surprised that you returned her bow. Daphne stops and shuffles over to you. You kneel down to meet her as she whispers that although the house elf is now a free creature, there was a time when they were not, and they were looked down on by wizards and witches and treated rather poorly. Many of the elves were brought here long ago to work, cook, and clean the castle. However, Daphne reassures you that the current headmaster has always looked after the elves and their families, keeping them safe, warm, and well fed. So much so that even after the house elf liberation, all the workers here, including herself, decided to stay and live in comfort, continuing to care for the castle and its students. She is happy here, she tells you, but it is still a shock sometimes to be treated as an equal, Daphne adds with a sheepish smile, even now. Well, so long as she is your friend, she will be met with nothing but love and kindness, you tell her. And with that, little Daphne leaps into your arms, holding on tight. You feel a warmth radiate from her tiny chest. She takes a step back and places your palms against hers, making a binding promise to be your guardian in this castle and to watch over you. Daphne glances at the ticking clock and gives a gasp, telling you she ought to be in the kitchen right now, preparing the breakfast feast. Your eyes widen in amazement as you realize that last night's incredible dinner was made in part by Daphne. Promising to find you again later, she snaps her fingers and, in a blink, disappears into thin air. Daphne truly is one of the most precious creatures you have ever known. You stand in silence and smile at the thought of this lovely new friend joining your ever-growing list of beautiful companions. In that moment, you hear footsteps from the corridor behind. you turn to see your best friend fully robed now, giving you a sleepy smile, followed by a wide yawn. With a new excitement, you place a hand on their shoulder and lead them from the common room down the echoey stone corridors of the castle, telling them all about your new friend, Daphne the House Elf. With a hint of regret, having not woken up early enough to meet her, your best friend asks you to introduce them the first chance you get. You agree to do this, of course, and soon the conversation turns to the day ahead, what lessons you might have later, and the subjects you are most excited for. On the walls around you, the wizards and witches in the many oil paintings are beginning to wake up themselves. Some give a loud yawn, and you watch a series of sunrises appear in these paintings as the many moons fade out of sight. The doors into the great hall are already open, with pockets of students filtering inside. The smell of a hot breakfast drifts through the huge archway, and with a low rumble in your stomach, the two of you race inside. The atmosphere is far more subdued and informal than the sorting ceremony and grand feast last night. The hall is dotted with drowsy students sharing mumbled conversation and enjoying the beautiful breakfast banquet that is spread over each table. The little fires on the gargoyles continue to crackle, giving an eternal warmth to this wondrous hall. Above you, the enchanted ceiling is no longer filled with stars and galaxies. It has been replaced with the golden red sun rising in the east, and the pastel blue sky is illuminated in a crimson and gold light. You make your way to the table underneath the huge banner of your house, and as you take a seat, one or two older students greet you with a smile. They tuck into their breakfasts and sip a hot morning tea or coffee as they scribble down notes for their latest assignment. You take in this endless feast in front of you, spread across the entire table, and you are reminded of the little elf. You take a moment to pause and whisper a thank you to Daphne, and then, with a fresh hunger, you fill your plate with all the food that you crave the most this morning. You remember these magical golden goblets from last night, and, knowing what to expect, you speak the name of your desired drink. Instantly, the goblet fills from the bottom up, stopping perfectly below the rim. As you take your first sip, you feel a beautiful vibration across your lips. This vibration travels over your tongue and down into your body, resting in the pit of your stomach. You feel every single muscle in your body relax and soften now, as you find yourself in a tranquil state of peace and comfort. a murmur of conversation mingles around the table, and you dip in and out of it as you continue to enjoy your magical breakfast. One or two of the friendly ghosts are drifting around the room, and as they float over to your table, they bid you all a good morning, and you return the greeting. You gaze around this mighty hall once again, taking in all of your surroundings, still amazed that after all these years of waiting, of hoping, you have finally arrived at the castle of your dreams. You share a smile with your best friend, and you feel so lucky to have them with you today. As you look over to the professor's table, you lock eyes with your gentle giant, who gives you an eager thumbs up, coupled with a beaming smile. You feel your heart brighten at the sight of your wonderful friend, and just being in this giant's presence, you know that you are completely protected here and well looked after. In the next moment, a huge parliament of owls flies in through the high windows of the hall. Each owl carries a letter or a small parcel, and each silently glides down to the many recipients dotted around the hall. To your surprise, a smooth-feathered tawny owl fixes their amber eyes onto you and floats itself down to your table, landing directly in front of you. Clasped between its beak are 2 letters. Your gentle owl pats its feet in excitement, urging you to take your letters, and as you do, it turns itself around in a little circle, hooting happily. The first piece of parchment is rolled up tight, tied with red string. As you unravel it, you see your house emblem embossed at the very top. Here is a timetable for all of your lessons coming up this week. Your best friend leans in with their parchment in hand, and you compare timetables. Today, you both begin with a lesson in flying, learning how to use a broomstick. Following this, you will start your journey into transfiguration, with care of magical creatures coming in the afternoon. Finally, after sunset, you will meet at the very top of the tallest tower to begin your adventure into astronomy and your deep study of the night sky. Just then, your friend notices that your second letter is addressed to both of you, and on the other side of the envelope, underneath the red wax seal, are the initials A.D. You peel open the envelope and unfold the thick parchment. The letter reads, "I hope your first night at the castle was a comfortable one. You are invited to visit my office this morning before your first lesson. I would very much like to speak with the both of you. Signed, your Headmaster." A flutter of nerves runs through you as you turn your head to the professor's table. Instantly you catch the old Headmaster sitting atop his golden throne, that same youthful energy radiating from him. He gives you a quiet nod with the hint of a smile as he peeps over his half-moon spectacles, his piercing blue eyes revealing a deep kindness coupled with mischief. In the next moment, you feel a huge hand gently land on your shoulder, and, turning, you see the gentle giant looking down over his frizzy black beard. He gives you a smile and offers to guide you to the headmaster's office, his beady brown eyes full of excitement. As you look back to the teacher's table, the golden throne is empty and the headmaster has disappeared. With a hesitant look to your friend, you both stand up and follow behind the giant's heavy stride. You sweep out of the great hall and wander up a series of hard concrete steps. As you journey through the corridors, you ask the giant why the headmaster wants to see you. He taps his enormous finger against his nose, giving you a cheeky smile, and tells you not to worry at all. The giant adds that you should look forward to care of magical creatures this afternoon. He has a real treat in store, he says proudly, a real treat.